Welcome in to This Week at the Dirty Pocket, where football gets messy and we navigate it. I am here with my partner in crime, Daniel Kelly, the GM, the scout of a future NFL team. Bank it, count on it right now. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you tonight, Stacy?
I'm doing good. I got to be honest, I'm kind of feeling the December-ish type mood coming on where I feel a little zombied out a little bit. It's December, it's Christmas, it's gray and raining out here on the Pacific Northwest coast. I'm sure that's not unlike your world out there in the Florida Keys where you're grabbing a suntan in mid-December.
Yeah, absolutely. It was pretty warm today down here, Stacy. Just what everybody wants to hear around the country. I mean, it's almost like summertime again. So it's yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Our rainy season comes in the summer. I mean, we get dumped with rain in the summer times. We can get I know you guys get a lot of rain out there in the Pacific Northwest up there. But we get a lot of rain in the summers. I mean, like a couple summers ago, we got 60 inches of rain down here in one summer. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, for a 4x2 mile island that's barely above sea level, that's a lot of rain.
That is a lot of rain, but that's tropical rain. It's a warm rain. I mean, I've vacationed in the Caribbean. I've been to the Bahamas, and look, man, you're as close as people can get to that. So you're living the dream.
We're 90 miles from Cuba. 90 miles from Cuba. Again, we're closer to Cuba than we are to a Walmart, like I always like to say on the show.
Should be a tagline, man. Should be a tagline. Well, I'll tell you what, you're east, I'm west, left and right. But it was a crazy week in the NFL, as it always is. And I think next week's a great game. We'll get to that at the end. A great weekend of matchups coming up. One in particular, I think you may have some interest in that I'll get to and bounce off you. But here at the Dirty Pocket, we like to review all the dirty and fun stuff that happened over the past week. And hey, as is tradition, people, I pulled what I guess is the foo-fooest move yet for me on Dirty Pocket. I've never seen these before, but they were in my refrigerator, so somebody put them there. I'm going to drink one. Truly,
is that a new sponsor of ours?
It should be. I mean, come on.
I mean, I'm watching you hold it up, but I mean, it looks just like you're on the Truman Show or something. The movie, you're the way you hold up that can.
Hey, I could do the whole Vanna thing, but okay. So I'm drinking a Truly. Never heard of it before or seen it before. What are you doing over there,
well,
Mr. Kelly?
I'm doing something very traditional. You mentioned it's December. We've always seen the Santa holding the Coke.
Oh, God. That's just, suddenly mine's more interesting. You're just drinking a Coke.
Well, yeah, but the Santa held the Coke back even in the 1950s. This was a big deal. I mean, and I got the little cans going, so it's
monitoring those calories, right? You're monitoring.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because the other night before bed, I had 15 Hershey's Kisses and a can of Pepsi before bed, and I slept like a baby. So then tonight I'm having this Coke, and this is probably my fourth one of the day, and I had a big Pepsi too about an hour ago, and I got some treats by my bedside. So,
eat some gummy bears, have a Pepsi.
Absolutely.
Real health conscious.
It's like people, yeah, well, for sure. Well, it's like people, I think it was Jeff Bostic, the center of the Washington Redskins back in the day when they were last time they were at Super Bowl in 1992, way back in the day when I went to the game. They asked him, they said, "So do you watch what you eat?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm on a seafood diet. I see it and I eat it." Yeah. And that's kind of me. I mean, I've always liked treats. I've always been kind of like a big kid, and first thing I go for on Christmas morning is my stocking, see what's in it, see what kind of candy treats are in there. Hey,
never changes. Never changes.
No.
I did that in the refrigerator and found a Truly black cherry hard seltzer. So yeah, somebody got it here and I'm drinking it. So there you go, folks. Let's talk some football, man. I mean, I want to start with your guy, Bill Belichick, in what I think we are going to look back on as this season gets close to the Super Bowl and go, that was a key game. And I'm talking about that Monday Night Football game with the Buffalo Bills that the Patriots pulled out. They're now on a 7-game winning streak. And I can't believe I'm saying this after basically a year off where Brady goes to Tampa, builds a super team, and wins a Super Bowl. Bill Belichick has a rookie quarterback, and they are the number 1 seed as of tonight, Wednesday. And they're in control. Again, the evil empire, Bill Belichick. What say you? To me, that game, and we'll dig into some of the specifics of it, that game was big. The Bills were supposed to be the hot, sexy new team out of the AFC East. Bill Belichick goes out there and Mac Jones throws 3 passes and he runs over he just ran over the Buffalo Bills.
Literally.
I mean, just killed them. It was an unbelievable game. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the game, but that was classic smash mouth football. Most of their runs were to the outside. I think Damian Harris, who was on my fantasy team. Thank you, Damian. And Ramondre Stevenson, 49 total plays on offense. 46 of them were runs with those two. They combined for 189 yards on 34 carries. Mac Jones threw the ball 3 times, Daniel. What is this, the Bill Belichick you've come to know?
Well, absolutely. I mean, here's the reality. Okay. This is a guy that I looked in the eyes and convinced him to hire me when I was with the New York Jets. I mean, I worked with Bill Belichick on staff for 2 years with the Jets. And let me tell you something. I mean, here's the deal about Bill Belichick, and he's proven this for as long as he's been doing this, is he's really smarter than everybody in the NFL. And this whole thing with people are saying, first of all, I don't know if this is true or not, with Matthew Judon saying, coming against Mac Jones after the game and saying, hey, great job for the offense, for everybody but him. I mean, come on, if you're going to point fingers, this is a dirty, pocket podcast. If you're going to point fingers, Matthew, turn up your volume, Matthew. Let's make sure we're pointing the finger at Josh McDaniels, who's calling the plays. Let's not blame the rookie quarterback. I mean, that was out of place. But here's the thing. I mean, the weather was terrible, okay, and the wind was high, right? And so he adapted his game plan to be a running orientated game. And he did a nice job doing it. We talked on this show a couple of weeks ago, Stacey, you and I, how that game with the Patriots and Titans was going to be a deciding game. It was going to be a statement game for the Patriots. When we did our wrap up of the show, it turned out to be just that. Now Belichick and the Patriots come back and done this to the Buffalo Bills, making themselves the number 1 seed, as you allude to, in the AFC. Mac Jones, absolutely. Everybody out there says nobody expected Mac Jones to be good. Well, I did. It's on Draft Diamonds. It's right there. It was my QB2 pre-draft. It's documented, date stamped. I even said in my pre-draft scouting report that he was going to go to the New England Patriots. Here's the thing. I mean, hit it. Bullseye, right? Here's the thing about Mac Jones. Mac Jones showed very clearly on tape that he was born to play in big game situations. He was born to play under the lights, and he was a very natural leader. I compared him actually to Joe Namath on Jason McIntyre's podcast up on Fox Sports and Straight Fire. Prior to the draft, he had a little Joe Namath in him, a little bit of swag like that. I said, this guy is a more polished, pro-ready version of Trevor Lawrence. His ball placement was superior at Alabama. People can say whatever they want. Oh yeah, I remember all the talk and chatter. I remember all the tons of nonsense on social media where people wanted to give all the credit to Jalen Waddle. They wanted to give all the credit to Devontae Smith, the 2 receivers there. They said they made Mac Jones. Wrong answer. They didn't make Mac Jones. Mac Jones helped make them, because that ball placement, this is something that a lot of people don't look at, is the importance of ball placement in college football evaluating. And when I say ball placement, I don't mean whatever it was, 76% completion rate that Zach Wilson had at BYU. That's not what I'm talking about. When guys are jumping all over the place and sliding on the ground to catch the passes. I mean, is the ball placed perfectly so the guy can catch it while he's running and just run through it? That's what Mac Jones did when he was at Alabama. That's what Mac Jones has done this season. Could we see Mac Jones as a rookie for the New England Patriots going into the Super Bowl? It's very possible. I really like what the Patriots are doing. I really like Mac Jones. Bill Belichick is a genius once again. Once again, he's running circles around the rest of the league. And once again, he's showing the New York Jets why they should never let him walk out of the building when I was there. And not only that, but they're doing it with the Jets' old kicker too. I see.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
it's
that's right.
unbelievable with Nick Folk, right? And so I mean, it's just incredible the job that he's done up there with the New England Patriots. Hats off to Bill Belichick. And he just, it's a privilege to have been associated with the man when I was there with the Jets, because he really is a genius. Nobody does it better than him. In this day and age where we're all talking about parity, it's not in his vocabulary.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. I mean, that Mac Jones move now is starting to look just stupid. Like, I'm sure there's people kicking themselves. Kyle Shanahan, San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan, San Francisco. I mean, it just looks absolutely unbelievable. I mean, in this game, though, I was so stunned at this game. Like, this is classic Darth Vader stuff, where Evil Empire, where he's looking at the other coach and going, I'm going to run the ball at you, and I'm going to run the ball at you over and over. At one point,
it was old school.
Yeah, at one point they had 32 straight running plays.
That's beautiful.
32. And you probably saw a post game where they're talking to Coach McDermott, and he's like, hey, let's back up. Let's not give Bill Belichick that much credit, okay? And I'm thinking, that's going to haunt you, buddy. You have to give McDaniels
That's
Belichick.
A soundbite.
Yeah, I mean, it's a soundbite. And then what's worse is you probably saw the clip too where Poyer and Micah Hyde, the two safeties, are getting interviewed. And granted, the reporter's question was stupid and it was borderline disrespectful. Are you guys embarrassed? I mean, come on, man. But if he had reworded that in a better way, it was a valid question. Like, how do you let a team run at you 46 times out of 49 plays and the safeties aren't brought down into the box? Nothing is stopped. They clearly weren't going to throw the ball. I mean, these were valid questions. Bill Belichick looked another coach in the eyes, an up-and-coming, a coach of the year, and said, I'm going to run you over. And that's what he did. Again,
Yes.
They're number one in the AFC. This is staggering, man.
Right. Well, Belichick's been coaching since Sean McDermott was in diapers almost. I mean, it's probably so. I mean, it is an incredible job. And you know what? I think Belichick's on to something, because I think if more and more teams start running the ball more, because we're evolving into a more of a pass happy NFL, the tackling in the NFL is embarrassing. It is flat out embarrassing, folks. These guys, most of these guys, they come in and try to hit with a shoulder pad, with a helmet. They bounce off to the turf. The tackling in the NFL is insanely embarrassing. And not only that, but a lot of these safeties and corners, guess what? They don't want to come up and get in on the action. They don't want anything to do with these running backs, because they want to sit back in coverage and they want to try to prolong their careers and not take the physical contact. So if you can get past the defensive line into the linebacking core, hey, you're going to pick up yards in this league. I think a team would be brilliant right now if they went back to the old school, went back to a more of a run-orientated offense like a Colorado State is doing right now, with the two tight end sets, and you run the ball with that Bailey guy. That Bailey running back's interesting with Colorado State. The kid's like 240 pounds. Like, you just pound. And you know what? These defenses are more and more geared towards the pass. And if you come out there, if you're one of these struggling teams right now, and you come out there and do this kind of thing Belichick did to the Bills, and you start run. Hey, the Detroit Lions should do it right now. Dan Campbell should do it. I'm doing an article 2 days from now for SI Detroit Lions that says 3 things that Dan Campbell needs to improve on his play calling. One thing he needs to do is hand the ball off to Jamal Williams 30 times in the game.
Yeah, you actually saw that Jamal was definitely the guy, where we're going to get to them. But I want to stay here. You're on to something, because when you take a look at what the Patriots did with Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris, guys, this isn't King Henry. This isn't Adrian Peterson in his prime. These are good, solid running backs, but they're playing in a good, solid scheme. And they are literally, Belichick didn't blink. He just stuck to the plan and ran over the Bills. And here's an amazing thing, switching to the other side of the ball for a minute, that Patriot goal line stand in the fourth quarter was the key. That sealed the win. So now we're back to New England Patriot football, running the ball, 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, extra offensive linemen, throw in a fullback. We're going to run it down your throat and play great defense. And folks, newsflash, the New England Patriots are the #1 team in the AFC as of tonight. That's incredible to me that they have been able to turn that around. And if you want to go even deeper, and you talked about this in your articles prior to the season, we've had a couple shows about it. Folks, he plugged and played a really cerebral, talented rookie quarterback, and then the number one seed in the AFC. Not Patrick Mahomes, not Jonathan Allen, not Lamar Jackson, not Justin Herbert, Mac Jones and Bill Belichick, folks. Hold on tight. The Patriots are here, and I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but here's what I want to throw at Daniel Kelly. Here's what I want to throw at you as a former NFLer and future NFLer. How flipping excited is the NFL right now at the mere mention of Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots facing Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at SoFi Stadium in the 2022 Super Bowl? How many people are drooling at NFL headquarters?
A lot. It'll be an incredible game. And, I think it's a very distinct possibility as we move forward that this could really happen. I think we could see this come Super Bowl Sunday.
I think that would be absolutely mind-blowing. So, yeah, you're already starting to get the storylines. You're already starting to go, wow, Mac Jones, the rookie, takes over for the GOAT, and he comes in with Darth Vader, but Darth Vader's playing Luke Skywalker in Tampa Bay. I mean, you could just see this storyline building, and the NFL and advertisers got to be thinking, oh, yeah, let's make that so. Let's make that so. Yeah. So I think this game was a big flip in the AFC East. I think you and I will talk about this, and we'll look back and go, that Monday night game, and
that was it.
That was it. That was a turning point for the AFC. Switching gears with you for a few minutes, and I'm throwing this out of you left field. Didn't tell you I was even going to bring this up, but you cover the Detroit Lions for Sports Illustrated, folks. So we're going to just go there. I don't think I had as much fun at all this NFL season as watching the walk-off touchdown with the saddest football team in the NFL. My guy, Jared Goff, who I am fond of, Dan Campbell, who's just a player's coach. What did that mean to the city of Detroit? And I'm assuming you're going to cover this as well for Sports Illustrated, but the clips of that and watching that moment where Jared Goff steps up in the pocket and delivers right there to Brown, the rookie out of USC, and the emotion, man. God, I'm rooting for Detroit. It's just been too long, bud. It's been too long for them. Was that a special moment? Did you catch that?
Absolutely, I did. I did see the end of that game. I was watching part of the Jets game because I cover them, and I was watching the Lions because I cover them. I was going kind of back and forth, and that was an incredible game because Detroit has always found a way this season to lose those nail biters, and for them to have come in there and beat the Minnesota Vikings like that was just a really incredible moment. I mean, it's funny because the week prior to this game, I had predicted the Lions would win and it would be a scene like the Detroit Lions just won the Super Bowl, and I was off by a week. But this game in particular, it was like that. They showed the fans, they showed everybody jumping up and down. You would have thought, if you lived in a cave for the last 2 years and you saw that reaction, you would have thought they were going to the Super Bowl. It was just a surreal, just a moment. It was fun and good for them. They got their first win of the season. It's really miserable not to win a game just as the Cleveland Browns back in 2017 or whatever it was when they had the funeral around the Brown Stadium. But yeah, no, it was a fun moment. It really was. And yeah.
It was good. It was good. Yeah. And by the way, I want to tip my hat to you. One of the keys I thought in that game was watching them turn and hand that ball off to Jamal Williams. DeAndre Swift. I mean,
that's the key.
He just brings it. Yeah.
That's the key. The misevaluation that management has done in Detroit of a lot of their personnel has a lot to do with their failings this year. And one of the biggest areas of opportunity and one of the biggest reasons why Detroit has failed this year in certain aspects is they have the roles at running back reversed. DeAndre Swift is a number 2 back who can come in and spare the starter. When Jamal Williams was signed, They even the Lions even told I've been told by a source that the Jamal Williams was told that he was going to be the featured guy, And Swift was going to be kind of the guy who comes and spells him. Well, that's the way it is at all their training camp practices. I mean, their practices during the season is Jamal's featured during the practices, but then DeAndre's, not. Then in the games, it's just the opposite. So they've had this thing reversed. Listen, DeAndre Swift is not a smash mouth, pounded out running back. He's not that type of a guy. He's a guy that comes in as a number 2 back. Jamal Williams is that smash mouth running back, just like he was in Green Bay. And so that's finally things are starting to be a little bit righted, I guess you would say, and it made right in Detroit with Jamal Williams getting a handoff. If Detroit's smart, to your point, they'll turn around, keep it real simple, KISS, right? keep
it simple, stupid.
That's right. There you go. You said it. But if they're smart, what they'll do is they'll turn around, which they should have done in Green Bay on Monday night weeks ago, but they didn't. They got too cute, and they've always tried to get too cute with this. Hand the ball off to Jamal Williams 30 times. Throw the ball to Hawkinson, do the things that work, stay away from the fringe free agent receivers they have in Detroit. Stop trying to make them into superstars. They're not. And just hand the ball off. And because New England has shown it can be done. And absolutely, Jamal Williams is a guy in Detroit. And if you give him a chance, the more you hand the ball to him, the better he gets.
Love it, man. And hey, how about my guy, Jared Goff, NFC Player of the Week?
You're smiling. I can tell.
Of course I am. I'm rooting for him, man.
Yeah.
I think what happened there was raw, and I will think that forevermore. But boy, was he dealing. He missed. There's a couple plays he should have hit. He didn't. But overall, he was dealing today. He was named NFC Player of the Week, and tipping my hat to him. He got a W, and I hope the Lions turn it around. We'll be following your stuff for Sports Illustrated to see how that goes. Big draft coming up. Big draft. So we'll have a draft show coming up.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, man, I want to go scorched earth and just flip the script a little bit on you. We're sitting here in December in the NFL. And by this point, you're starting to get a feeling for, they are who we thought they were. That's what
Denny Green.
God bless him. And
absolutely,
we're getting to that point now with some of these teams and these coaches in particular, where it's very obvious what's happening. Let's talk hot seats. And I think the NFL hot seats are heating up in December. This is where everybody separates as they make a run for the playoffs. None of these teams I'm going to throw at you, I think, are part of those teams that are going to they're separating into the wrong direction. I'm looking at 5 or 6 coaches off the top of my head that I think are on the hot seat, and I want to throw them out at you, and you tell me, what say you, especially since you cover the NFL, obviously, in 3 or 4 different places. But there's a few I really want to throw at you. I'm going to start on a positive note because I think this guy's done a good job, particularly with the insanity that he's been surrounded with. I want to start with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
What a bizarre season they've had. And I got to tip my hat to Derek Carr for keeping that team even remotely together at this point through all the tragedy. But interim coach Rich Bisaccia, who is apparently a player's coach. The players love him. He certainly had the Raiders playing almost over their head at times. They're still not very talented, which is more, I think, a Mike Mayock issue, who I like, but that's for down the road. Maybe that's your next GM job, Las Vegas. Ooh, Daniel Kelly on the strip, wearing silver and black. Oh no!
Wow!
Brace yourselves, folks.
Woo-hoo!
But
I tell you what, I would make Al Davis very proud because I'd play a brand of football that would take the league by storm.
Yes, I believe that. We've seen your coaching
and I got a
schemes.
black hat on. You do. Too, so I'm warming up.
It's Chi-Town, which I'm going to get to in a minute. But Las Vegas, okay, you're the GM. Mayock's gone in GM Kelly. Are you keeping Rich Bisaccia there, who came over, I believe he's a special teams coach. He's the interim head coach. He's got them playing semi-inspired ball at times. Their lack of talent seems to catch up to him. What do you think? Does Rich make it to next year? Is he going to be named the head coach?
I think if anybody takes that job or they stay with Mayock, I think that Bisaccia will keep his job. I think they'll keep it that way for 1 year and give him a real chance. I think he's earned that right almost to have a chance for the year. If you're asking me if I come in there and become the GM, My guy's Kevin Kelly.
Yeah,
that's my guy. So I mean, I'm making the switch because Kevin Kelly is where football is headed. He's cutting edge. He makes. I mean, he's even more cutting edge than Belichick. He's friends with Belichick, in fact. So people don't really know probably a lot about Kevin Kelly at this point. But to me, that he's an ex Joe Gibbs, and that's the guy I'm bringing into the Raiders if I got a chance to do that. But outside of that, I think they're going to stay with the guy they have, because here's the thing that's happened with the Raiders. They've had so many unpredictable things and tragedies and different things happen in their organization. And I think that if they have a chance to just kind of let things sit for a year, that would probably be the most preferable for the stability of the organization. If they just shake everything up again and bring all new people, then who knows, how that plays out. But, I think the guy's done a nice job. He deserves a chance.
Nice. Yeah, I think that he seems like he's gotten those guys ready to play. And Derek Carr's done a hell of a job this year, in my opinion, just with all the stuff that's gone on surrounding Las Vegas.
Great. Yeah.
We're going to eventually, you've name dropped Coach Kelly several times. We're eventually going to do a show because there's plenty of listeners who are going, who is he talking about? So we'll get back to that in a future show because we want to share that scheme and what you think there. So I'll stay away from you being the GM as much as just, what do you think of these coaches? Because I think some of these guys' seats are on fire, man. And here comes my next one, and you're probably going to know why for obvious reasons. Coach Mike Zimmer in Minnesota. Is he going to make it is he going to make it past this season? I think he plays out the season for sure. But is he the coach of the Minnesota Vikings in 2022?
Yes.
Wow. Did not expect that answer.
Yes, he is. And what's going to happen is Minnesota is going to trade. Turn up your computers, your devices.
Oh boy.
Minnesota is going to trade Kirk Cousins to the Denver Broncos, which is an article I have coming out in a couple days here. He's going to be traded to where George Patton is. Who's George Patton? Well, he came from the Minnesota Vikings. So it's going to be phone a friend, AT&T. The Vikings and Broncos are going to do business. Denver's going to send their number one draft pick over to Minnesota for Kirk Cousins, because guess what? Because you hit on this. I did a little research. You remember you talked to Stacey a couple of weeks ago about how they signed those two receivers, Cortland Sutton.
Sutton.
And the other one, it was Patrick.
They got Patrick. They've also got KJ Hamler.
But the restructures,
and then they got Jerry Jeudy. Yeah.
But the restructures, right?
Right.
Those restructures, get this, right? Now follow me on this. Those restructures cleared out $37 million worth of cap space. Guess what Kirk Cousins' cap number is next year in the last year of his contract? 35 million.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, what a shock.
They can buy him a backup fullback to help him out.
What a shock. Absolutely. Yeah. What a surprise. So I see, this is how I see it unfolding. Russell Wilson, everyone's talking about that being the deal to the Denver Broncos. That's not happening. It's going to be Kirk Cousins. These guys, probably. These guys all work within the parameters of who they know. That's the only parameters they can work under most of the time, who they're familiar with. It makes all the sense in the world. And then guess what's going to happen, folks? This is the first place you've heard this as well. So get ready. You're hearing revolutionary type of things that the networks won't dare say because it's not political enough. But here's the situation. Minnesota then turns around with one of their picks in the first round, and they select quarterback, Nevada, Carson Strong.
Ooh.
That's right.
Timestamp this, baby. Timestamp it. You heard it here from the scout first. Okay.
Absolutely. So that's, I think that Zimmer is really going to really like Carson Strong. I think Minnesota gets the quarterback and they continue to build in that direction. I do think he survives. He's a big reputation coach. I think he'll survive that whole thing up there in Minnesota. Most of the times the quarterbacks win these battles when there's power struggles, but not the thing with Cousins. Cousins is worn out his welcome. Cousins has one playoff victory to his entire 10 seasons, wherever he's had in the NFL. He's been stealing money from the day he was drafted.
Yeah, Cousins is such a polarizing figure in the NFL. People love him or hate him. So I'll tell you, I've got a list of a few, but I'm going to save some for next week in the interest of time. I've got one more I want to throw. By the way, on Mike Zimmer, I disagree. I think he's gone. That's my take. I don't have a lot to back that up, but I feel like he is just mired in mediocrity. And I feel like if they do, I do agree with you about the Kirk Cousins trade. Love that. Timestamp that, people. However, I think they're going to want to open the door for a rookie quarterback. Interesting choice on your part, Strong. And I think they're going to bring in an offensive mind. One of these guys, these Byron Leftwich, these Eric Bieniemys, I think they're going to bring somebody in. They still got Dalvin Cook. They've got Justin Jefferson's just ridiculously talented. So stay tuned on Mike Zimmer. This is one where we might disagree a little bit. Here's my last one I'll throw at you this week, but I'm saving up some. Matt Nagy, Chicago. Is he the coach of the Bears in 2022?
No.
God, it can't be, can he?
No.
Oh,
No.
I just don't see it. His lack of time management, his crazy play calling. Justin Fields, who to me looks like another Steve McNair. Is this a place in your mind where you could see a Bieniemy, a Bowles? I really do think it'll be offensive. A Byron Leftwich, somebody like that coming in to work with Justin Fields?
If it's anyone, I mean, Bowles is the big name that's been mentioned so far. And I think, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it being Leftwich.
Boy,
I would
he's
not
got a
be.
great mind.
I wouldn't be surprised at all, because if you want somebody to come in, if your entire future is built around Justin Fields, you want someone to come in there that understands the position. Leftwich is a former quarterback himself. He's somebody that understands the offensive side of the ball, and he's somebody that can work very well, I feel, with Justin Fields. Justin Fields is my QB1, just like your hat says. He was my QB1 head into this last draft. Very, very well timed and almost prophetic to have that on today when I'm talking about Fields.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think it's probably Leftwich if I had the guess of that bunch.
I don't hate that move for Chicago. I think it's a really solid move. I'd love to see more African-American head coaches. We want to get into the travesty that is the Rooney Rule. I think that would be an absolute amazing move for Justin Fields. Give him a real offensive-minded younger guy. Hasn't been that long since he played in the NFL himself. He's coming off coaching the GOAT. There's a lot to love about that move. I think we're on the same page with that one. So there's my three. I think Zimmer will be gone. I think Nagy's gone. And to your point, it's going to be very interesting to see how some of these guys jump in on some of these rookie quarterbacks coming out in this draft, which we're going to do a whole Daniel Kelly scouting show after you do like a 72-hour marathon with your eyes plucked open watching quarterback film. We will get there. We will get there. Excellent, man. Okay, it's time, as we close out each week, to just talk about the big games this week. I think this is one of the biggest, best weekends of matchups we have seen. Like, there's been some duds the last couple of weeks where you're like, there's nothing to love about this weekend's games. But this week is ridiculous. I'm going to start with a little one. It's just a little one that you might have some interest in. People have heard of this. I guess it's been a rivalry for a while. How about them Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington football team in what is co-game of the week? It's going to shock you what the other one is. But the Cowboys, Washington football team, what say you, man? This is big. Taylor Heineke can pull this off. Come on,
absolutely,
folks.
Absolutely. I mean, here's the thing about Taylor Heineke. Okay, everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, he looks like everyone's giving him props now, and he's the quarterback and everything." Listen, folks, May 23rd, Draft Diamonds. I said it clear as day. Taylor Heineke is the franchise quarterback of the Washington football team. I mean, this is old news to me. This guy is a natural born leader. He plays with heart. He's a gunslinger, and he's going to drive this team down the stretch into the playoffs. And the thing about it is, last year they swept Dallas and Washington. And I know my wife won't want to hear this because she's a Dallas fan. That's another show by itself. But the thing of it is that, get this, here's an interesting stat, right? I saw this week. I'll throw this on our show. The Washington football team has never lost to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I think I saw a tweet to that effect from you.
Yes, they've never lost. Now, the Redskins lost to them, but the Washington football team has never lost to Dallas. And here's the thing: is I think that this is going to be an interesting game, how it unfolds and what happens. But I think this team is coming together in Washington, and I'm still not sold on the cohesion of the Dallas Cowboys. And I think the best team will win. Whoever can play best as a team, and I believe that's going to be Washington. Of course, I am biased, yes.
No, it's okay.
But I do feel that. And I've picked against Washington on the show too. But I think that they're coming together at the right time, and I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with down the stretch.
Yeah, I like that kid, man. I like watching him play football.
Love him. I have his jersey.
A lot of fun.
I have his jersey. I love the guy. I love stories like that.
Me too. It's what the game and the sport's all about. You're going to hate my guts. Your wife's going to like me. I think the Cowboys' backs are against the wall on this one. They have to win. I mean, the Washington football team.
Can I beep you out?
You can attempt it. You can attempt it. I'll scrub it out.
Beep.
Help me, Samantha.
You're
Cowboys.
swearing. You're swearing on the air. You're saying the word, the C word. I can't even say it. It won't come out of my mouth even.
It's just one of those things. It's a gut thing. I have nothing to back it up. I feel like the Cowboys are the classic underachiever. I mean, Dak Prescott in a wide receiver room that anybody would drool over, running back room that most people would love to have, Elliott and Pollard. It's just ridiculous. I feel like the Cowboys have to come to play for real, but it's at Washington. I'm personally rooting for the Washington football team, but I think the Cowboys might eke one out. This might be one of those overtime games. Okay, so we're split. A couple of other just really quick ones, and then I'll get to what I think is also the co-game of the week along with that one. Raiders at Chiefs, real fast.
Raiders.
I like the Raiders too. I think the Chiefs are in trouble.
The Raiders.
I think the Raiders are going to come to play. Here's an interesting one that I think it's do or die time for Baker Mayfield. Ravens at the Browns.
Browns.
I like the Browns too.
Yeah.
Damn it. I hate when we agree on everything. I think Baker's going to do something special. And I think somebody on defense, one of those ridiculous amount of talent that they have on the defensive side of the ball, somebody's got to make a play. Somebody's got to make a difference. Hitting Lamar, a fumble, something. I like the Browns as well. Okay, this one's big after Monday night. The Bills at the Buccaneers.
Buccaneers.
Yeah, I like the Bucs too. I just don't.
I think the Bills are starting to experience a little bit of a meltdown, and I don't know.
I think they're fool's gold.
Yeah,
I thought they were fool's gold last year.
It's interesting. It's very interesting because this is why we play the games and why they're not played on paper. It doesn't matter who starts out well. It matters who finishes well. And it matters who starts getting hot right around Thanksgiving and starts going forward from there. And I think the Bucs can kind of sense that what we talked about earlier in the show, that kind of Super Bowl thing. I mean, Tom Brady's like Michael Jordan. He plays for one reason only, and it's for the rings. And I think this is where Tampa Bay is going to start their stretch drive and really start pouring it on.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said. I think this is it. And Tom Brady knows he's up against the clock. The time is undefeated. It will end for him. Gronkowski seems to be acting like he's 19 again. This is an interesting game. I think the Bills are fool's gold. I don't think they have the running game. I think their defense is average at best. Yeah, I think the Bucs. So here's the co-game of the week. This is going to shock you. This is going to shock Mr. Kelly, but let's be honest. Outside of the Cowboys Washington football team, this game is just as important, and that is the Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. This is it for the Rams. I mean, this is the NFC West. You picked
the Rams to be the co-game of the week. I mean, that's so strange. Look at your wall.
It's going to be a hell of a game on Monday night. I think we're going to have an epic game out of these two teams, two coaches that hang out, they're best friends off season. What say you? The Cardinals are you're picking the Rams. I thought you were just going to kick me in the head.
No, not at all. We talked about this. We talked about this earlier in the season when the Cardinals start out really hot and they have all these weapons and all these things. But we started to say it when they came on early, is this team is peaking too early. And I think this is where the maturity of the Rams versus the more immaturity of the Cardinals, maybe you would say, starts to show up. This is where McVay says, okay, let's put this thing together. Stafford's not getting any younger. This is where he comes out and does this thing. I just think the Rams are a more mature football team. I think they know how to play December football a lot better than the Arizona Cardinals. And I think the Rams are going to win this game and probably win this game decisively.
Damn, man, I could hug you. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I I think the Rams, granted, it was the Jaguars 37-7, but I just got this weird feeling like you did based on experience that they're starting to kind of pull it all together in December. And if you watch McVay, best coach game of the year for him, he went 12 personnel. He had 2 tight ends. He had 6 offensive linemen in there at times. He brought Joe Noteboom in there as an extra tight end type swing tackle. He was running the ball in the A gap with Sony Michel. I have a feeling Sean McVay has turned a bit of a corner, and we're going to look at an NFC that will include the Rams, Buccaneers, Packers. Cardinals, I think, peaked too soon. I'm with you, but I'll tell you what, I hope I'm not wrong, because Cardinals have some firepower.
They do have firepower.
They can play offense.
The Arizona Cardinals are like the Dallas Cowboys. They have a bunch of pieces of the puzzle that don't gel together as a team.
Right. No, you and I are, God, we're just agreeing so much tonight.
Well,
but I agree with you. It's experience.
Here's I'm holding my arms for a virtual hug. You said you want
virtual hug.
Virtual
I thought
hug.
You were going to just kick me in the head and say, "Oh, Cardinals are going to blow them out." But Cardinals are athletic. Haven't seen much out of AJ Green. Where does Zach Ertz fit? Their running game's strong. Kyler Murray's a problem, but I just get this feeling McVay is going to pull this team together and go.
He is.
So they're 2 games back. This is for the NFC West. Cannot afford to lose this game, or otherwise we're guaranteed at best a wild card. So what 2 great games. Cowboys, Washington football team. I'll be tuned in. Monday night, Rams, Cardinals. Both of these are big divisional games. And then, of course, Ravens, Browns is a good one too. We're looking at good football this weekend, Scout.
Absolutely. Not only that, but on Monday night, you may find another Truly in your refrigerator.
Oh, I don't even know where it came from, so I got to figure out who's doing this.
Yeah. Hey, it could be Santa. Who knows?
I need a different flavor. This black cherry is kind of it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's
yeah,
getting me by.
I mean, that could be there for that game.
Okay.
That's the play call. You go to the fridge at kickoff and see if another one's waiting for you.
Okay, done. I will let you know. I'll tweet it out.
Absolutely.
I love it, man. Well, hey, folks, thanks for joining me in the Scout. As always, a fun week of NFL football. Got a big weekend ahead. We love having you here at the Dirty Pocket. Follow us everywhere you can. Like, subscribe. It helps a couple of schmoes out. But we're bringing the content. We're bringing the real world stuff. We're not sugarcoating it too much. But for myself, the future GM and scout, Daniel Kelly, writer for SI Jets, SI Lions, NFL Draft Diamonds, and Whatever It Takes book. Myself, host of Gridiron Icon. Thanks again for joining us here on the Dirty Pocket, and we will see you next week.
Yes, absolutely. Enjoy the football, and thank you for watching.